Good afternoon and welcome to the Entrepreneurs Life Show. I'm David Orphan, your host, and today is going to be awesome. We're going to do something different, something we have not done yet on the show. We've invited a special guest, Natalie Joel, who is not just a fitness fundy, but a health fundy. So Natalie is going to share her amazing story with us, and we are privileged to have her here today. Natalie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, David.
Oh man, it's an absolute pleasure. I know I've been trying to get you onto the show, and it's not easy to get you onto the show. So Natalie, I would love it. Please share with us, who is Natalie? What do you do? Where do you come from?
Hi, as David said, my name is Natalie Joel. I come from Johannesburg, South Africa. I've lived here all my life. I love it here. I think this is a beautiful place to live. When I was in my teens, I started putting on weight. And when I got married, it got even worse. And with each pregnancy, I put on even more. And I battled for about 40 years to lose the weight. Went to a dietitian, went to doctors, weight less, all the normal stories. I could not budge this. I'd lose a bit, be starving all the time, and put it back.
Oh, wow.
Finally, the last place I was at, she put me onto diet pills, and I wasn't too happy with that, but I was starving all the time. It was crazy. And she said to me, Natalie, you can't be on them for longer than 6 months. I thought, what am I going to do? I'm losing weight nicely, but I'm starving all the time. And then I discovered, when I was coming back from the shops, I'd have this whole pile of chocolate wrappers sitting on the seat next to me. I was craving chocolates like you cannot believe. So I said to my children, this is crazy. I really, really want to lose this weight. I used to be a XXX large. That's me and my husband.
Oh, my word.
Before.
Wow.
Let me show you another one. And that was me at gym, talking about being a health fanatic.
Wow.
And I couldn't lose the weight. And the chocolate was like this drug, if I can use it, that word. So I said to my daughters, you know what I need to do? I need to get hypnotized against chocolates, and then I'll lose the weight. So one of my children says, you can't just go to anybody, which is true, because hypnosis can be very dangerous. And she recommended a psychologist who does hypnosis to go and see. So I went to see him, and I told him all my eating issues and all my eating stories. And he said to me, Natalie, I'm not going to hypnotize you. And I said, why not? He said, you're going to do banting. I said, what? Because the latest dietitian I was at said, because I'd heard about banting, and she says, no, you can't do banting. Banting is the South African word for keto. You can't do banting. Who knows the long-term effects? So I said to him, but what about the long-term effects? He said to me, what long-term effects? Try it for 6 weeks. And he told me what to do, and he told me what to buy. I went to the car, and I said to my husband, he wouldn't hypnotize me. He said I should do banting. So he said, okay, I'll do it with you. And that's how our journey into this wonderful way of eating happened. This was 5.5 years ago. So not only did we lose weight, my husband and I together have lost over 100 kilos, over 230 pounds. But the exciting thing is I used to be on 2 blood pressure medicines. I'm no longer on any.
Oh, wow.
It's good, 80 milligrams, no longer. My husband no longer has diabetes. Can you believe it? Diabetes was reversed.
Wow.
And last year, because of the diabetes he'd had previously, his arteries had all been chomped up from all the sugar in his body. He had to have a quadruple bypass.
Oh, my.
His recovery was unbelievable. Now he says he had a little bit of plumbing done. That's all. The doctors couldn't believe how well he recovered, David. And they actually said to us, if you had not gone to do keto 4 years before, you would be dead by now. You wouldn't have survived.
Oh,
so
wow.
It was actually a miracle that this way of eating has saved our lives. So I was so impressed by this secret way of losing weight that nobody knows about. Or if they know, they think it's dangerous, it's a problem. Who knows the long-term effects, which is such a stupid comment to make if you think about it. Because the long-term effects of eating grain, everybody gets gluten problems and they get all illnesses from it, but nobody says the long-term effects of eating the standard Western diet. They don't say that.
Yes,
so I thought, this is incredible. It's turned our lives around and nobody knows about it. I've got to help people with this. And I decided to become a keto coach. And that's what I've done. So I became a keto coach, and then I decided I should also do life coaching because it's all linked. You can help people because they might not have just the keto need, they might need, because I can tell you the embarrassment of being overweight, break chairs, can't climb stairs, stand in the back of photos, you know, the normal thing that a woman thinks about when she's extremely overweight. I was in triple X large. Yesterday, I wore a size small shirt to gym. You know, it's incredible. Wow. It's absolutely incredible. So I'm now a keto coach, and I love it.
Awesome, man. Now tell me a little bit about it. Obviously, we know keto is one of the like in words and in things happening in the world because it's giving good results. But I would like to know, as a keto coach, what do you do? What do you offer your clients? How do you offer it? Is it something that people have to come to you? Is it something doing online? How do you work with that? Can you share with us a little bit?
Yes. Okay. Well, had people, I'm worldwide. Internet, have computer, can travel. It's amazing. It's absolutely.
It is.
Think how our grandparents would think of what we have today. We live in paradise. Our world today is incredible. Anyway, it is, you know, it's incredible what we have at our fingertips. People don't have to slave for hours. They don't go and chop the wood for the fire to make the supper. Switch on this, put on a thing, or if there's power failures, put on the gas, and there you are.
If Eskom doesn't interfere, yes.
Yeah. Keto is what I call it. I prefer doing the banting. The banting is like if you remember in maths at school, we had sets and subsets. Banting is like the whole thing. You have the standard Western diet, which we've all been eating. Well, I think I'm a lot older than you. Since the 70s, everything changed. The American government pushed grains, and they came out that said fat is so bad. For good fats became bad fats, and bad fats became good fats. Well, bad fats were manufactured, actually. They weren't in existence before. Yes. They made all these new fats. And they said, no, people are not going to get heart attacks anymore. Everything's going to be wonderful. But what's happened? More people have died of diabetes and become diabetic since this has all been introduced. More people have had heart issues than ever before. More people have had high blood pressure, autoimmune diseases that never existed when I was a child are now every second person's got celiac or IBS or something awful happening in their body, and they just take it for granted. So keto is going back to what I was saying earlier, our great-grandparents eating a healthy, basic, not so basic, but basic ingredients lifestyle.
Okay, cool.
And it's not counting calories, because the calorie story is actually also a load of junk.
Dog poo.
Because how can 1,000 calories of broccoli be the same as 1,000 calories of a slab of chocolate? So if you go to some club Weight Watchers, I don't even want to mention whatever they are, doesn't matter what they are, you go to an ordinary standard Western dietitian or weight loss place, and they'll say to you, you've got to have whatever, say 1,200 calories a day. Just fit it in whatever you do.
Yes.
So if you have 1,200 calories of chocolate for 5 days, what's going to happen to you? Nothing good. If you have 1,200 grams of, it's delicious, but that's it.
It is.
1,200 grams of calories of vegetables, your body will start healing. It will get well. Your face will shine. Your hair will be beautiful. Your body will love it.
Oh, absolutely.
So how could you say a calorie is a calorie? It's rubbish.
It's
And you say calories in, calories out. It's also rubbish, because you don't know what your body needs inside you to function before you can start using those calories to exercise. Your bodies need, your heart needs to pump, your brain needs to work, your liver, your kidney, your pancreas, all those things need energy to go before you can go anywhere.
Yes, yes.
So with banting, we count the carbohydrates. So the standard Western diet is very high in carbohydrates. A slice of bread is 2 slices of bread, and peanut butter and jam and that whole thing is over 50 grams of carbs. And with keto, banting, we try and keep it below 50 grams. So banting incorporates keto and incorporates low carb. So low carb, I don't know if you've heard of the LCHF, low carb healthy fats. Some people call it high fats way of eating. It's basically keeping your low carb and keeping the fats healthy. And then the protein is not hard. It's not having 3 steaks and a packet of bacon and a slab of butter every day. That's not what keto is, or people think it is. Banting is bringing your body back into alignment to get your health back. So the major hormone of our body is insulin.
Yes.
Which I always thought insulin was something that diabetics needed to inject themselves or to take to help with that. I always thought that was what insulin was for. I didn't realize, I'm sure most people don't, that insulin is the major hormone that runs our body. And
yes.
If our insulin is out of whack, then everything is out of whack. So you have too much insulin in the body. It's like eating something. It's like having a box. And you're cleaning your room and you're sticking everything into the box. And after a while, there's so much junk. Where do you stick that stuff? The box is overflowing. So you'll stick it under the bed. You'll stick it in the cupboard. You'll open a drawer. You'll shove it in there. And it's the same with our bodies. Bodies get the things in. Oh, good. Sugar. I need sugar for energy. But you only need 1 teaspoon to get your brain going for the day. So you're having a cup of rice, which is like 6 teaspoons of sugar, because everything goes and turns into sugar in the body. Unless it's fat or protein or some very small things, but it's mostly everything turns into sugar. So after a while, you've been eating all this stuff. Where does it get parked? So it takes what it needs and it parks it in all the parts of the body. And then for many of us, we get what's called insulin resistance. It's like having a child and the child says, "Mommy," and you're busy reading a book. "Mommy, Mommy." Screams at you to recognize, to get it. So it's the same thing with insulin resistance. The cells get resistant to hearing the screaming of the sugar saying, "Let me in, let me in." And it doesn't come in. And then your body gets resistant to the sugar.
Yes.
So a lot of, I'm just making a recent, it goes into the tummy. And we all get these, well, I don't know about you, I can't see, I just see your face. But I had this 6 months pregnant stomach in my 50s. And you look around, unfortunately, you're even seeing it in children today, that they've all
more and more.
Tummy. It's frightening. It's because of our Western diet, our bodies are unable to handle the so genetically modified grains, and everything's got sugar in it today. Even if you think you're eating healthy, it's got sugar in it. So it's got sugar and it's got gluten. So those 2 things our bodies cannot handle, and it causes the trouble. Another thing with sugar is, did you know that sugar is a bigger addiction than cocaine?
Oh, absolutely.
So you can understand that you have a slab of chocolate, and also it's like a car. Say you're driving a car and it's a petrol car. It's quiet, it's smooth, drives you everywhere. The petrol comes in, oil, whatever it does. I'm not a car mechanic. Whatever it does to the car, and it goes beautifully. And it's silent. But you've got to fill up once a week. Say you've got a diesel car. It comes in, it makes a noise. You can hear this car coming from 2 blocks away. But it takes longer for the engine to convert it into fuel for the car to use, and you only fill up once a month. So it's the same thing with sugar. Sugar is highly processed, comes into the body, energy is used, and when you go somewhere you feel, how can I be starving? I just had this huge lunch of macaroni and cheese, and I had a muffin afterwards, and I had a fruit juice. I should be full, but it's an hour later and I'm starving. And you think, Natalie, you're such a greedy pig. How can you be so hungry? You've just eaten. But the problem is, it's this highly processed food that just comes in. Yes. And then also the sugar triggers a thing in your brain. It says, give me more sugar. I want more sugar. So it's the 2 things. It's the quickly processed food. Your body, if you heard like running and you hit a wall, that's the story. And it's the addiction to the sugar. I was addicted to chocolate. So by changing to the Western diet, you cut out the sugar, you cut out the gluten, the grains, and all of a sudden your body says, I'm feeling full. This fat is so wonderful. It's coating my stomach. It's making me feel great. The vegetables are lovely, the meat, the everything. I can last for hours. I haven't eaten since last night. I don't need to eat every 3 hours. I don't need to eat all the time. And that's what happens when you change to this way of eating. Am I rambling on too much? I'm just so passionate about it today. And nobody knows about it. That's what's so scary. And if they think they know about it, they say, it's so dangerous. Why is it dangerous not having sugar in my coffee? Why is it dangerous not having a slab of chocolate? Why is it dangerous having a delicious steak and salad? What's dangerous about that? Why is it going to kill me to have grilled fish or fried fish in the right oils?
Yes.
People don't understand. And that's what I love doing when I'm coaching, is to explain to people how to go about losing the weight and gaining the health. One of my clients, I must tell you, I'm so excited about it. He was on 36 units of insulin for his diabetes. He's no longer on insulin. Isn't that amazing?
It is.
And I say my husband as well. The best thing I ever did was do keto, because it's basically saved his life. He no longer obviously if he starts eating the Western diet again, it'll come back. But we've got no desire to ever eat that way again.
Awesome, man. That's great. Now, Natalie, tell me, how can people get hold of you? Because this is important, because there's going to be a lot of people that's going to ask, listen, how can I get Natalie? Where can I speak to her? Because, I think this is something that people need to do. They need to actually go to you or talk to you and just find out what I can do to become more healthy and more, live a better life. So if you don't mind, Natalie, please share your contact details with us. What we'll do is also, we're going to take that, put it down here in the video, put it at the end of the video, and also in the comment section so that people can get hold of you. So please, anything that you want to share now, share with us.
Okay, another thing I forgot to mention before I do that is I'm slightly different to other keto coaches for these following reasons. One of my daughters is extremely anaphylactic with nuts. So everybody's always saying use almond flour, use nuts, have snacks for nuts, have almond flour. And everything. Almond flour is the most delicious of all the seeds and nuts, the replacement for flour. But because of her anaphylaxis problem, I don't use nuts. I use other things, and people come to me. And I had a new client yesterday, in fact, and she told me she's also the first person I've heard since my daughter who's actually anaphylactic with nuts like her. Some people get itchiness, but she also stops breathing with nuts. So I tell people how not to do nuts. And the second thing is, everybody says if you don't have bacon and butter, how are you going to manage? How do you not have cheese with everything? Firstly, I keep kosher. So I don't have cheese with meat. So all my recipes, unless people specifically want, are done that you don't need to have the cheese with the meat. And also for people who Muslim, I don't do pork. So everybody thinks you've got to have pork, bacon, blah, blah, blah. You don't. You can use your normal food, your normal proteins, and it works beautifully. Absolutely awesome. Beautifully.
That's great, because I know there's a lot of people like myself and my wife also, we can't eat nuts. We go nuts on nuts. So.
Yeah, me too. I'm like that. That's my addiction. I can't, if I have a little packet of nuts or a big packet of nuts, gone. So I try not to have nuts around, because you don't want to give into your addictions. That's the whole thing.
No, and literally we will die with it. So.
Are you also allergic to them?
Highly.
Really?
Yes.
So more and more people are. I wonder if it's a spray that they use on the nuts.
No, we actually allergic to the nuts. If like with us, if you literally make food and it's just around nuts, we pick it up and we start going in like a shock, basically. So no.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have a coffee shop and we had no nuts at all. We had no nut milk. We had no nut anything because of this thing, because the little flakes can fly in the air and then she can walk in,
Yep, that's the truth. So that's awesome. Okay, great. So Natalie, please share your details with us. And like I said, we will add it in for you, my friend.
Thank you. My email address is livingketowithnat@gmail.com. Can forget these things. I've got a website which I've just started, so I'd love people to subscribe, and to my email. Awesome. My website's been up for a month or two, so it's brand new. I'm very excited about it. It's livinglifewithnat.com. My Facebook is Living Keto with Nat and Living Life with Nat. And what else do I have? I have Twitter at Natalie Joel, and I have LinkedIn, Living Keto with Nat. And what else is there? At Instagram, I'm also Living Keto with Nat. I just qualified recently as a life coach. So I'm broadening things, not just keto, I'm trying to change things to living life.
That's it,
Because
yes.
life encompasses, eating is part of life. It's not the thing, it's part of life. So
Yes.
that's why I'm trying to change to be more living life with Nat.
That's awesome, Natalie. Thank you so much. And I want to say thank you for being on the show also. You know, this is always so good for me because when it comes to health, I understand more than anybody that health is very, very important. So, Natalie, thank you for going out and trying to change the world, even if it's one person at a time. People do not
Yes.
realize how hard it is to be doing what you're doing. All respect for you on this. And like I say, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for making the time, especially being so busy and just saying, hey, I want to do this. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, man, it's
All
awesome. And the listeners, please go and find it. Go and talk to her. I know there's a lot of people out there that needs the help. Go and talk to Natalie. Go and just find out what you can do and how you can do it. This is a journey that you have to take because your health is your number one investment in your life. It's your number one priority in your life. So go and have a look at it. Go and speak to Natalie. She's all over social media. You will not miss her. And again, Natalie, thank you for being on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. All the best.
Oh, man, thank you.
Bye.
And listeners, remember to tune in tomorrow for another awesome interview, and we will see you then. Thank you very much.